out at Apex Motor Club in Maricopa today to do a final test with the reincarnation of the Lemons car. And for those of you who don't know, Lemons racing is where you take a $500 car and race it for 2 days with a whole bunch of other idiots doing the same thing. I'm here today to shake down this car and make sure it's working okay. So we're taking the team to Barber Motorsports in Alabama, and for some of them it's the first time doing a Lemons race, so they're in for a bit of a shock. And we're teaming up with an organization called Heel and Toe for Heroes, who provide essential assistance for veterans, veteran families, and veteran organizations. And they are bringing a team of mostly veterans to crew for us so they can learn what a Lemons race is all about. Look at the car, it has changed significantly. It has gone from looking like a complete wreck to actually looking like a race car. So I'm going to take it out on track today, make sure that everything works. I know I've got a brake problem, and I know I've got a problem with the control arm, which I spent the whole day yesterday trying to get off, and I couldn't. That's the problem with an old clunky car. Bits tend to rust on. So this car was hail damaged and had engine problems with overheating when we got it. Got it for a Lemons race 5 years ago now, and it was fixed up to work at the time, but it was a real mess, and so now I've made it look pretty. Well, the shakedown went well with just a couple of small things. Well, one very rusty ABS sensor which we had to get out, and here we are at Barber Motorsports in Alabama with the rest of the crew. And the car's here.
Hi. Do I need a booster seat?
You might need a booster.
No.
Because when you can't lower the steering column.
So if you catch it, you're free to go.
Yeah. We are here in support of Heel and Toe for Heroes with an amazing group of people, and we're going to help military veterans who are here and military veterans who are not here. Today's been practice. Steve's driven, I've driven, William has driven, and now Carl is in the car. And for a while there, we were P4 overall. I think we're P5 now.
What do you think of the car?
I think the car is really, really, really good. There's more in it. There's definitely more in a different set of tires. But I think everything that you would want out of today has been delivered our way. It's been great. Everyone's been clean, smooth, and everyone's learning the car, and it's fun. A lot of cars, a lot of traffic.
Heel and Toe for Heroes, we founded to bring veterans together at the racetrack. We started it because there's a lot of veterans that get out and want to feel connected back to the military. Racing is the best thing that makes them feel like they're back in the military. Plus it helps with mental health. When you're on that racetrack, you can think about nothing else but that turn, and that helps with PTSD and trauma in veterans. So we want to just help veterans and go forward.
Not always a good sign to have the hood up. This is preventative rather than anything else.
Absolutely.
God, there's a lot in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Seeing as I emptied it.
So
But it's clean.
It's better than last time.
It's better than last time.
It was the dipstick is now halfway down in between the min and the max, and it was at the max line.
Yeah, but that's just, there's still oil everywhere in the engine. If you wait 2 minutes, it'll be higher. He's obsessed with oil in this engine. You can tell he's a race engineer. I generally fill it up when it's empty. General consensus is this is a little difficult to drive compared to what we're all used to. So Carl, tell me about what it was like to drive.
It drove, and I didn't crash. I did lose the end a couple times, just a little bit, which even catching it on, like when you lose your rear on this, catching it is different, you know, because you're dealing with a bigger wheel and its reaction is a little bit slower. But it was fun. A lot of pucker moments for sure. I'm so used to driving the Radical. I know the Radical, so it's more comfortable So right now, Radical is still more fun, but this is totally fun. And it's a new experience. It's a new challenge.
And the Radical has grip.
The Radical has grip. This has a little bit of grip.
No grip.
The car needs to be louder, Steve. It needs to be obnoxious.
So how's it going so far?
The car's still running, so I'd say that's good.
Yeah, we're half a day in.
Yep, half a day in.
Oh, poo! I think I need more practice.
Okay, I forget. I just push it on,
Just
right?
push it on and turn it. There you go.
I forgot how goofy this is for me. Like, it'd be so cool if I could just drop the steering wheel like an inch.
So a guy in a blue E46 booked it the wrong way down pit lane, hit the brakes hard at the entry, thought about the purpose of his life, and
For about 2 minutes.
for about 2 or 3 minutes, then backed it up, turned it around, and then we gave him a good clap of the hands as he passed it. It looks like he's just been pulled off track.
They were probably like, bro, you've been here 7.5 hours. The track goes that way.
This
You need
is
to come back in.
this is Lemons racing.
It is.
Well, testing yesterday was a success in that the car didn't break and everybody got to have a go. And it is Saturday morning, chilly but sunny, and we've got 30 minutes to green flag. You get to drive the car.
I do. It's good stuff.
I do like my flashy light button.
I do too. Well, the first day I saw it, I was like, I wonder what this does. And I was like, oh man, that's perfect.
So here we are, the 130 cars gridded. Judges are already pissed with us because we didn't have a driver in the car on the grid. We've got 1 minute to go. Pretty impressive lineup of junk.
Now we got 1 minute. 1 minute, he said. 1 minute.
Eric is our first driver up. And it's race is not going to be won on the first lap.
Ironically, I know.
Are out on oh no, there's still cars coming out, and the field is wrapped around the entire track, and we have our first car coming into the pits, and the race hasn't started. There's another one cramped out at the end of pit lane. That's not a good start to an endurance race. Cars are still going out on track. What is he? He crashed on the outlet?
Looks like
it. So there are still cars going out on track, and we already have 3 retirements. This is nuts. So the fact that a TR7 has retired before the race started is not a surprise. The fact that the TR7 got to grid is the surprise. So there's we're 4 cars down, 127 cars now out on track. They call a blind start here. They just pick a random car and go green. Cars have now stopped on track. So there's an issue already, and there's a 5th car coming in. There's a green and a yellow flag out. So the race has started, and it started under a full course yellow, and this is how fast the cars are going. So we are racing at this point, but it's very hard to believe. So the reason why it started under yellow was just before the green flag was going to go, somebody's engine blew up. And instead of pulling off the track like you're supposed to, he drove around the whole track, leaving oil. So they had to clean that up, and that took about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But we are racing now, and we are currently P7. Just about 2 hours in, we've only used half a tank of gas. This car is incredible. Eric is doing a fantastic job maintaining P10. There's a couple of faster cars behind us though, so that's going to drop down, but where we are going to excel is on fuel economy. There's a couple of other E36 BMWs out there as well, so they're going to be the same, but this car is absolutely perfect for endurance racing. So we've just done our second pit stop, and we've dropped down to 20th or 21st place. Pace is still good. I think at this point we're aiming hopefully for a top 10 finish, but you never know what's going to happen in the rain. We will see. Car still appears to be going strong, which is probably the worst thing to say, because after having said that, it will stop going strong. But no, it's running well, everybody's happy. People who've been in the car have come out with smiling faces, and it's been a great experience, great learning experience, driving in a lot of traffic. But there are a lot fewer cars out there now than there were first thing this morning.
It was a complete and total shit show out there, 131 cars. But it was absolutely the most fun racing I've ever had by far. Absolutely a blast. I was figuring I was probably passing on average 10 cars a lap. So I passed about, in 50 laps I had to have passed 500 times, which is just like absolutely bonkers. It was freaking so fun.
You gonna do it again?
I think I want to do Lemons Racing almost exclusively. Like Apex Radical and then Lemons Racing only.
Time to get ready for our final pit stop of the day. We're putting Carl in to take it home to the checkered flag.
It's a blast. Most fun you can have on four wheels.
What was the best bit?
I had a little off-road excursion at one point.
What caused that?
It was me. Yeah, 100% me.
So what was your estimate of how many cars you had to get past?
Oh shit, 100? It was unreal.
Would you do it again?
Hell yes.
Hell yeah. Tell me about your day.
Well, I learned on the job today how to not stall the car and how to accidentally put it in reverse when I want to go forward while racing. So that was interesting and fun.
And what did you think of it? Of the day?
It was awesome. It was a learning experience. I now can call myself a manual car driver, which is awesome. And there's so much traffic and it's so freaking wonky and funny out there. I love it. When you're racing with cars covered in shag carpet, you know you're in the right place.
Final pit stop of the day done. And we're running for the next hour and a half. The weather's closing in. We should stay dry until the end of the day, which is actually good because there's cloud cover come down. This track is, last hour of the day is horrible to drive in because you're driving straight into the sun, but the cloud has come in, so Carl won't be facing the sun. Good day so far. We've still got a little to go, but it's looking good. We're still running around P20, which is okay, but not what we were hoping for. So hopefully we can make up for that tomorrow. Day 2 of racing, and unfortunately the weather forecast was correct. It's cold, wet, windy, and just generally miserable. We're just heading to the grid. We've just found out that the blower inside the car doesn't work, so it's going to be a challenge keeping the inside of the windshield free of mist. Yeah, this is just like being at home. So Kai is going out for 2 hours this morning, and then we have an hour's downtime for religious purposes, and then I'll be back in the car at 12, trying to do a long stint depending on the weather. I'm not looking forward to this. Last time I drove a race car in the rain was 18 years ago, and then we'll see how it goes. We just had a realization the paint might wash off this car.
I think we're looking forward to 131 cars in the rain, making up some positions and having fun.
Good news is there's a lot of cars that just aren't running today. Very few people have wet tires. This guy's got stickers. These are the top 10 down here. So we'll be starting 20th in the field. We don't know where the cars that we're running against are because it's just kind of random. But we will see. 1 minute to go. God, it's cold and windy. I miss Arizona. So there's the field. Out of 131 cars, it looks like we've got about 50. I'll count and get back to you. My best guess is 55 cars. We're just about ready to go. They're pushing one car out. Here we go. That's the top 10. So we're 21 on track. So that's pretty good. Chatter going on here. We were betting on whether or not a car would go off in turn 5 on the first lap, and lo and behold, I don't know if you can see that, there's a Jetta stuck in the gravel trap. So my guess is we're going full course yellow to get that out of there. He got a loud cheer. Okay, Kai doesn't like the setup of the car. He thinks it's too stiff for these conditions, so we're pulling him in because he's only doing laps at 2:30 in the dry, not 2:30, yes, 2:30 in the dry. We would be 1:45, let's say. So we're going to bring him in, undo the drop links on the sway bars, and hopefully that will make the car handle better, and we'll be able to pick up the time that we lose by pitting. Well, that didn't go as planned. We couldn't unhook the rear sway bar, and that's the one we really need to do. So we've taken some stiffness out of the front, and we will see. And then we do have an hour's break at 11 o'clock. We'll see what that, if we can get it off then. But Kai says the car is undrivable. Everybody's staying indoors today. So we're about a minute off the pace that we were setting yesterday. It's really unfortunate. Okay, so that stop that we just had to do cost us 2 places. So I think a top 10 has gone. Well, I would say that's the morning session done and dusted, but there is no dust because it's so bloody wet. So we've got, let's say, 45 minutes to change the setup on the car, and we'll see what we can do. happy that's over?
Oh God, that was crazy. I gotta pee so bad.
Right, half an hour to my turn in the car. I'm gonna try and drive this for as long as it will last, which I'm figuring is going to be about 3 hours. But this is never a good sign. Still working on the car. Well, that had to be one of the hardest things I've ever done on a racetrack. It is pissing down, and most of it seemed to be pissing down in the car. I got one black flag because I didn't see the yellow, and I pointed the guy to give the place back, but they still pulled me in and said, we don't do that here, it's too complicated. Because that's what you're supposed to do. These conditions are dreadful. We've been hit a few times. We dropped a bunch of spots, and it would actually have been a lot of fun if there hadn't been a whole bunch of other cars around. But it's just trying not to get hit is very, very difficult. Anyway, it looks like we're in 21st place, I think. It'd be nice to go up one spot to get in the top 20. Don't think that's going to happen. Well, I think we can call that a success. Race has just been called 15 minutes early, presumably because of the crap visibility. We were being chased down at the end, but Carl did an excellent job of staying ahead of the chase car. And we finished P19 out of 131 cars, 12th in class. I think we call that a success. And we just need to wait for our boy to come in. Great way to finish the race. So we're just waiting for our boy Carl, the wonder driver on ice, to come in. Meanwhile, that poor Golf that conked out is still out there. So that's some of the damage. I can paint over that.
Good job, man. Good job.
And here's the only other damage of the day.
That was fucking awesome.
We got off pretty well.
Man, what an experience. So crazy. I mean, to go sideways doing 60 on a straightaway will wake you up really quick. I mean, you definitely don't need coffee or caffeine or anything of that sort after doing something like that. I mean, just pure fun. Holy smokes. I learned a lot.
I didn't call it fun.
Well, I mean, it's nerve-wracking, no doubt, but I mean, with how much you learn so many new things.
Weekend. Epic weekend.
Awesome.
Couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, other than it would have been nice if it wasn't friggin' raining and cold as shit on day 2, but
yeah, I wish you guys had dry.
Yeah, it would have been so sick if you guys would have had dry conditions.
I'd say the veterans for the win.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, friggin' $25,000 raised this weekend alone. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's gonna go a long way to getting them into 4 races this year, probably, which is awesome.
And practice being pit crews and all that stuff too, because they're all learning.
They said they learned a lot, which was the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, for most of those guys, it's brand new, right? First time doing any sort of race.
Yep. So that's that. I would say we're back in sunny Arizona, but it seems like the horrible weather followed us and it's cold and wet and miserable. Hope you enjoyed our look at Lemons Racing, and if you ever get the chance, take it. You will not regret it. Take care. Cheers.